Wow. Wow. Finally, a movie with no prerequisites, no homework, no extenuating movie lore that I need to know of going into this movie, no other movies that I'm expected to watch in reference to this movie. This movie exists in its own little container, like you are trapped in its own little world, and it's refreshing. Hi, my name is Emily or La Movie Mija. I'm a part-time filmmaker, full-time movie lover, and this is my review of Trap. Welcome back to my channel. I am so grateful for all the positive responses to my last few videos, especially my video on Blink Twice. I really enjoyed that movie and I'm really enjoying all of your comments and your commentary and how much you all are diving into analyzing the film. There are so many little details in that movie that I definitely missed in my review. So if you've seen the movie, go check out my review and also go check out the comments because there is a lot of great analysis happening in there. And you all are so kind. Like, seeing comments like this is really motivating and just really sweet. Like, I appreciate you all. It's nice because even when I'm super wiped from working on set all week or I'm like really sick and recovering from a cold like I am right now, sorry, this is what I'm gonna sound like for this whole video, I still look forward to putting in the time to make a video for you, especially when it's a movie as fun as this one. So let's get into it. A man and his teenage daughter realize they're at the center of a dark and sinister event while watching a concert. Directed by M. Night Shyamalan, this film stars Josh Hartnett, Saleka, Ariel, Donoghue, Allison, Jonathan Langdon, and Kid Cudi. Okay, here it is. I had a good time watching Trap. I really did. I didn't think I was, but you know, there's the twist. I did. I thought it was very fun and delightful in ways that surprised me. There are so many thrillers that focus on the gore and the violence of the serial killers and, you know, the murder spree, but this one flips the view, so we see what it's like when the serial killer is supposed to be having a day off. And I know for many people, when they hear the name M. Night Shyamalan, there is a baked-in metric of success. And that metric is predicated on the effectiveness of the big twist. I think it's limiting for the viewer to only judge a movie by its big twist. Yes, he's had some amazing twists, but that can't just define his whole career. And I'm of the belief that he has so much more to offer than a twist. And this movie is proof of that. When this movie is at its best, it's because of this like really great match of chemistry between director M. Night Shyamalan and its star Josh Hartnett. They found some real synergy crafting the character of Cooper. He's a dorky dad with a sinister secret. Josh Hartnett just eats. He eats up every bit of dialogue in this movie. And he oscillates so well between being this like dorky, embarrassing to be with dad figure, trying to take his daughter to a pop concert as a reward for her good grades, to not so dorky and cheesy. In fact, downright menacing. As a millennial who at one time saw Josh Hartnett literally everywhere and then kind of nowhere, it's really nice to see him return to the big screen in this way, and he just knocks it out of the park. The story itself is deceptively lean. On the surface, it's presented very plainly as a cat and mouse thriller, but it's this guise of simplicity that allows Shyamalan to explore more human-centered and grounded elements that drive the drama of the deep-seated terror of this movie. By focusing on the father-daughter dynamic between Cooper and Riley, Cooper's daughter, Shyamalan achieves an undeniable relatability that is humorously in contrast to this like wackier, larger setup of the movie, which to me is essentially what would happen if Norman Bates took his daughter to a Taylor Swift concert. Personally, I think it's so cool that Shyamalan and his daughter, star of the film Saleka, collaborated so closely to make this film. She is the inspiration for the concept and like the setting because she is a singer-songwriter herself. She wrote an entire album worth of songs for this movie, and she's also tasked with performing these songs on stage for the film. So we get a concert movie and a thriller 2-for-1, which I think is so cool. And the music is actually good. I also think it's really well directed, and the technical achievements of making a concert movie shouldn't be overlooked. Overall, I think this movie has a home in the arms of moviegoers who are just looking for a good time. If you're someone who wants to watch a movie at home with friends, this was the perfect setting for that, and I had a great time watching it. This movie will be embraced by moviegoers who like to look past the surface and take apart a movie like it's lyrics to a Taylor Swift song. I personally don't know too many Taylor Swift songs, but Long Live. Long Live is a banger. Let's talk spoilers. Okay, listen. My tips for enjoying this movie are you need to lean into the heightened reality of it, babe. Okay? It's not the real world as we know it. If you want to live in the real world, you can do that. But if you want to go into the M. Night Shyamalan world of trap, you can do that too. Shyamalan is not afraid to stray into the realm of heightened social commentary in his narratives, and I find that really fun to play with him. He feels like a playful director, and I love that he's not afraid to take these risks. I found myself liking this film more and more the more I thought about it. Like, it started to grow on me. I can't shout enough how much I enjoyed Josh Hartnett's performance. There are so many scenes to choose from, like from him trying to apply the slang crispy in a sentence. I was also unaware of the phrase crispy. Is that a thing? Is that actually a thing? It's not just what happens to my hair when I put too much gel in it. There's also the scene of him navigating the room full of armed guards, and all he has is like an employee badge and his white man smile, and he is able to just navigate the room with his charm, but you see in his face there's a turn. There's a turn that happens as he's leaving the room, and I gasped. I had to pause the movie and I had to scream because it was so exciting to see that flip happen right before our eyes. And then there's the awkward line delivery on the roof. My friend was burned. It sounds ridiculous out of context, but when you're watching the movie, it feels genius. It was so delicious to see him just take advantage of this part and just play it to a T. It's all so good and works so well within the world of the movie. There's even that scene where he's fixing the little hand towel as he's yanking Lady Raven out of his home bathroom in the latter part of the film. Those details like that just make him feel like such a fun character to play. Now, if you were here for the twist and you were measuring this movie against the success of a twist, you should have known better. I'm going to put this on you because the trailer makes it pretty obvious that Josh Hartnett is the killer. All right. He's looking at his phone at an app of a man tied up, like in the trailer. We already knew he was the butcher. That's not the twist. And I think that's great. I love that for this movie. Typically, I try to stray away from trailers as much as possible, but I couldn't help. They gave us everything in that first trailer, so I already knew. But I think by divorcing the movie from the pressure to deliver a twist and telling us who the killer is up front, it just opened up the movie to be a whole new experience and a whole new playground of thrills to play in. And while there aren't any twists per se, there are some big surprises. The first one being that Saleka, or Lady Raven, played by Saleka, is not just a pop star. She's a hands-on agent, okay? She is not afraid to go square up with a serial killer, and I like that for her. Growing up in the 2000s, I felt like being a spy was just something every girl could aspire to be. Like, you had Debs, you had Kim Possible. Being a spy just feels like a tangible career choice. And Lady Raven, she took her chance to become part of the FBI here. Her becoming such an integral part of the film was a big surprise to me. I did not see that coming. Surprise number 2 is Rachel, Cooper's wife, being the reason that this perfectionist serial killer is even a suspect. Allison Pill gives a stellar performance as Rachel, and her heartbreak and yearning for this investigation to prove her husband's innocence is chilling. She helped coordinate the whole trap by leaving a piece of the ticket stub or the receipt for purchasing tickets, either one of those two, at one of his houses where he performed his acts, and alerted authorities to the suspiciousness of that house, and they found the piece of the ticket stub. So that's how they knew that he was going to be at the concert, and so they worked in conjunction with Lady Raven to help set up this trap. But again, she didn't outright think that he was a killer. Like, maybe in her heart of hearts she knew, but she also was desperately hoping that this whole investigation would prove her suspicions wrong. And, well, whoops. Side note, there are actually 2 plots with rising action taking place in this film, and they feed 2 different audiences, or one audience in me, like a girl who likes girl movies, and I also like thriller, mystery, serial killer hunter movies. And that's fun that this movie can have both. So the first is obviously the hunt for the butcher and Cooper evading capture. The second is Riley's. Okay, Riley is Cooper's daughter again, and she is having the time of her life at this concert. And We find out as the movie goes on a little bit of backstory as to why he's taking her to this concert. Yes, she had good grades, but he also feels guilt for her feeling so distanced from her two best friends. We don't really know exactly what happened to drive the rift between them, but those two best friends also happen to be in attendance at the concert, and Cooper at some point speaks to one of the girls' moms, and it's such an awkward confrontation. And the fact that they ran into each other twice, that was the most unbelievable part of this movie. Okay, that's a big old concert venue, and the only time we see these girls is when Riley gets picked to be the dreamer girl and gets to go on stage with Lady Raven. I screamed when that happened. I mean, yeah, Cooper lied his way to get her there, but seeing her get to live out her dreams, which essentially would have been my dreams when I was that age, I think it probably would have been like if Britney Spears wanted me to go up and sing Lucky with her or something. That's like the equivalent. Or even today, like if Chappell Roan called me out on stage to be the siren for the Casual song, I'm there. I loved that for Riley, and seeing her bratty BFF yell at her mom and very Veruca Salt coded, that was hilarious. I ate that up. You go, Riley. She was having the best day of her life until she wasn't. All right, let's talk about overall themes for this movie. There's like the overarching theme of the consequences of voyeurism in this film. The trap of screens in the formation of parasocial relationships constantly comes up. Play along with me, let's overthink this one together. No one in this movie really knows one another, and everyone is being watched. And this comes up in many different ways. We have Cooper watching his victim through the app on his phone. We have the FBI running surveillance on the entire concert venue. Riley and her former best friends. Cooper tells her at some point, you feel close to people even when you aren't, and he confides in her how hard that must be. All of them being at the concert, feeling close to Lady Raven, but ultimately viewing her mostly through the large screens. Like when we go to concerts, we hardly ever get a good enough view to see the performer with our own eyes. We're constantly looking at the giant projections of them so we can feel like we're a little bit closer. You have Cooper and Rachel and their marriage. They don't really know each other, but they have these lenses that they're viewing each other through, and she's kind of surveilling him and trying to figure out what's driving this distance between them. Then you have the FBI profiler and Cooper. The FBI profiler thinks that she has Cooper all figured out. And Cooper, how he sees himself, he thinks he's so self-important. He sees himself as so above everybody else. Like he even laughs at the end when he's able to get away. Like, how easy was it for me to evade capture? And then for me, I was thinking Saleka is just a pop star, but here she is ready to jump off stage and actually act as an agent and help intervene in this murderer's like vicious plans. Riley and her dad is the only relationship that does feel authentic, and it's heartbreaking that his deceit is simultaneously giving her the best day of her frickin' life and will be the thing that breaks up her family. There's a layer of dread that is not explicit in the surface level framing of the narrative, but it's driven by Cooper's inability to enjoy his simple life as a husband, as a father, a firefighter. He thinks he's indestructible and so much smarter than everybody else. And the greatness of this movie experience is flipping that point of view to see what it's like when he starts being the one who is watched. We are the viewer watching him trying to evade capture. Maybe the trap is the friends that we make along the way. Okay, what did you all think of Trap? Did you have as much fun with this movie as I did? Did you have a good time like seeing Josh Hartnett in this performance? Have you listened to the Lady Raven album outside of this movie? Because it's actually pretty good. And what themes do you think Shyamalan was trying to explore in this movie? And if you have a favorite Shyamalan film, let me know in the comments below. Okay, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.